Ooh, what's up, nerds and geeks? My name is OMG WTF LOLFTWBRB. Welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling 2016. We're booking the invasion angle, and finally, I can say it. We are on the road to WrestleMania. Oh yeah, it feels good. No Way Out is in the past. And there's one thing I do want to talk about with No Way Out before we move on to Monday Night Raw here. One of you mentioned it, and I just want to go ahead and say I wholeheartedly agree with you here. Someone mentioned in the comment section that the angle where Shane attacked Vince McMahon, of course with the NWO debuting, whatnot, should have closed out the show instead of Sting versus The Undertaker. And you know what? You're completely, I agree, 100%. I wish I would have thought of that when doing that, and yeah, it should have closed it out. You're completely honest there. That's going to be probably in a future video I'm going to do. I'm thinking about when we actually get to WrestleMania, I want to make like a whole week out of it. So we'll do, of course, our regular Monday Night Raw, Thursday Night Nitro, and Sunday Night Heat video along with WrestleMania, but also doing like a video on Tuesday and Thursday and stuff like that. And I've kind of come up with some ideas. One of them is going to be like what I would have done different, where I'm going to kind of look back through this series and see things that I wish I would have done instead, little story things I would have added here, or maybe little elements here and there. It's probably not going to be a big video, but there are a few things that I'm like, oh, that would have been a lot better for me, would have been cooler for me to do. And some things that you guys have came up with that I'm like, that'd have been better, but whatever. And there's also a Fire Pro video I want to do where we'll probably just simulate the entire WrestleMania show, at least all the matches I can do, stuff like that. But nonetheless, let's jump right into Monday Night Raw, the first Raw on the road to WrestleMania. We got a couple of pre-show matches to start us off here. We have a terrible pre-show match. Tank Abbott going over the one, Billy Gunn, in 8 minutes and a second after a distraction from Disco Inferno. So Billy Gunn got a 44 and Tank Abbott with a 41. The only thing Billy Gunn is the one of is the one I always choose to lose. So, yeah. There you go. Unfortunately, he's the one improving. Stop improving, Billy. You're supposed to help other people improve. Anyway. And finally, there we go. And holy shit. What? On the pre-show? You have no right being on the pre-show with ratings like that, gentlemen. I honestly didn't think they would get a solid 82B rating, yet here we are. And what is kind of I don't want to call it a dream match, because we've probably seen it. I don't know. I'm not the most well-known ECW guy. I don't know the history pretty much is what I'm going there. So it could have happened. It might not have happened. But I thought it would have been a fun match to see, RVD and Sabu versus the Dudley Boys. Like two ECW kind of, teams taking on each other. I think RVD and Sabu were a team in ECW because they had the coach guy that blew the whistle. Either way, we have a pre-show bout that had great wrestling, decent reaction from the crowd. Dudley Boys going over RVD and Sabu, and Bubba Ray Dudley defeats Sabu with the powerbomb. Bubba Ray and Devon, of course, they got their chemistry. JR and King have their chemistry. Sabu with a in-ring performance of a 74. Rob Van Dam with an 87. Bubba Ray Dudley with an 88, so he had the highest performance in the match. And Devon Dudley with an 82. No worker improvements. Boys, that's... Are you mad that I didn't put you on the main show, that you had to outdo me like that? Not cool, guys. Not cool. Alright. Let's take our drink, because we gotta jump on into this. You know what, actually, before we do jump into the actual main part of the show, I want to talk about this show real quick. Because this show is going to be kind of interesting here. In the sense that I haven't booked a lot of people on this show. There's a lot of main eventers. In fact, there's a lot of upper mid-carders that are left off this show. There's a lot of the same faces on the show. In fact, what I like to refer to this show is pretty much a one-story show, because the main story is being told as like an overarching story, which it's like the main thing we focus on throughout the night. So I'm kind of curious to see how it goes, and I'm hoping I'm not going to have a bunch of people pissed off at me because they were left off of Monday Night Raw. I think we'll be fine. I'm like 90% sure we'll be fine, but at 10% I'd look at it and go, oh God. And it's always, that 10% that's the loudest voice in your head. I'm sure we all know what I'm talking about. Either way, let us move on. To open up with a get the fuck. Okay, Billy Gunn's supposed to be there. Oh, I got worried. I was going to say, what the hell is Billy Gunn doing in the angle? I was really going to get mad at him. But then I saw Rikishi and Dean Malenko, and I was like, what is going on here? Anyway, almost jumped the gun. You're doing your job, Billy. 100, except you're not helping people grow. 100, A-star rating. We got an angle here featuring the likes of Shane, Booker T, the Steiners, and for some reason Rikishi, Billy Gunn, Dean Malenko, and Mick Foley. Either way, a limo arrives to open up Monday Night Raw. The driver gets out to open up the door, and out comes Booker T. Out come the WWF Tag Team Champions, the Steiner Brothers. And finally, out comes the owner of WCW, Shane McMahon. He tips the limo driver big money, and they begin to walk to the back, pretty much into the arena. They walk in. We got WWF superstars trying to intercept them on their way in because, well, this is WCW. We all saw what Shane McMahon did to Vince McMahon last night at No Way Out. So he's kind of like, he's been public enemy number 1, but he's kind of like public enemy number 0 pretty much now. He's -1. So they're all going after him. Unfortunately, Rikishi, Billy Gunn, and Dean Malenko are the ones to happen. Maybe Rikishi and Dean aren't the only ones, but Billy Gunn, I know I'm kind of hating on you in this episode, but come on. Either way. So we got the WWF superstars trying to intercept them on their way in. Of course, that's what Booker T and the Steiner brothers are for, who will easily take out Rikishi, Billy Gunn, and Dean Malenko. Shane, of course, is mocking them the entire time while they're being beaten down. They, of course, then start making their way all the way up to the office of Vince McMahon, his father. And Shane kicks the door in to actually find the commissioner of the WWF, Mick Foley, set up in there. Of course, Mick Foley likes to set his offices up in different areas. Tonight he decided to set up in Mr. McMahon's office. Kind of convenient, but in a way I like to think it makes sense because since Vince isn't here, Mick Foley's kind of like, I got to assume the role. So either way, Shane, kicks in the door and he sees Mick Foley. He goes, well, look what we have here, boys. It's the man of many names himself, the WWF Commissioner, Mick Foley. And Mick just looks at me and goes, why are you here, Shane? You here to take me out just like you did your father? You're disgusting. And Shane just looks at him and he goes, shut up, Mick. The time for talking is over. You ask why I'm here? Well, Mick, last night, we cut the head of the WWF off. And now we're here to take over. Take him out, boys. And then Shane turns his back. He looks straight into the camera, while, of course, you got Booker T and the Steiner brothers beating down on Mick Foley in the background. And this angle's a little interesting because I'd like to imagine that this isn't exactly what opened up the show. I'd like to imagine that maybe the show opens up with the limo just kind of chilling there. And I maybe could have done it this way, but whatever. But the limo just kind of chills there, and then we lead into this opening match. And I'll get to what I'm saying, in a second. But either way, Shane improvised well, and got the show out to a strong start. Booker T looked good. Crowd was hot for it. And Rikishi, of all people, is improving in acting. So, like I was saying, we jump into this next matchup, which, honestly, I didn't want to open up Monday Night Raw, but I wanted the matchup to kind of be a throwaway matchup. Maybe it could have been the Dudleys versus RVD and Sabu, but I didn't really want to sacrifice the Dudleys, especially after we just brought them back. That's kind of why I had them go over RVD and Sabu. So either way, I'll get to what I was saying in just a moment. We go into this opening matchup here that kind of sort of opened up Monday Night Raw. We had the limo pull up. We go into here, 67C plus of a match. Subpar wrestling, little heat to it, which is honestly pretty cool. Noble, incredible. What? Okay. This isn't exactly how it was supposed to go. You would think Total Extreme Wrestling would have been like, oh, it's supposed to be a draw. But no, it put someone over. So this is technically supposed to be a draw, but the game gave it to Jamie Noble and Just Incredible. So in a way, that's kind of cool, because maybe it'll stop their bitching. But either way, the way I would have booked it, or wanted to book it, is it was supposed to be a draw, because pretty much what happens is during the match, we have it going on. The limousine pulls up, like I said, and we see everyone starts coming out, Booker T, Shane, and all that. That's when we jump into that main angle that we just saw, but the match is still supposed to be going on, because it's like two things going on at once, and you can't book that in Total Extreme Wrestling. So you got that going on during this match, and meanwhile, while they're all distracted by Shane and them taking out the WWF in the backstage area, that's when we have a bunch of people from WCW jump them. And then, of course, the match is just thrown out because they get jumped. So, we've got Ron Simmons, which, whatever. He was kind of used on a later angle, but I guess he can jump from spot to spot. There's enough time in between. That's just the perfectionist in me right there coming out, though. We got Sean Stasiak. We got Mark Jindrak. We got Ron Simmons. Lord Steven Regal. I think that's it, to be completely honest. I can look at our booking details. No, is that it? Is it Road Agent notes? My bad. Yeah, so it was Jindrak, Simmons, Regal. Of course, they're distracted by Shane McMahon as well. And Sean Stasiak. So pretty much Power Plant and Ron Simmons. Funaki with an in-ring performance of a 58. Al Snow with a 67, so the best of the night. Funaki actually not too bad either. Just Incredible with a 50, and Jamie Noble with a 57. Credible is improving in technical and flying skills, so can't hate him there. And then finally, we jump into the second part of the angle. So Funaki and all of them are kicked out of the ring, and then Shane McMahon finally makes his way to the ring. So, Shane's music goes off after all the chaos is in there. He joins Mark Jindrak, Sean Stasiak, Regal, Ron Simmons all in the ring. He's out there with, the Steiner brothers and Booker T. They all go to the ring. He takes the mic and he says, "What's up, New Jersey?" Because, they're in New Jersey. And he goes, "I wasn't joking when I said we're taking over. Tonight, you might as well call this WCW Monday Night Raw, because you'll be hearing a lot of me tonight. Because I'll be gracing out our TV audience with my lovely voice. Tonight, on commentary. But not only will you be hearing me tonight, you'll be seeing a lot of WCW, because any WWF superstar that wants to step up and be a hero, well, now's your chance." And then that's when we hear "If You Smell," and the Rock's music goes off, and out he comes. He stands at the entryway, mic already in hand. He goes to speak, but Shane interrupts him before he can speak, and he goes, "Hey, what's the matter, Rock? You too afraid of facing me in the ring?" And then Rock looks at Shane, and he goes, "Shane, you shut your mouth and know you roll. Don't you ever interrupt the People's Champion again when he's about to speak. And trust The Rock when he tells you that he'd love to whoop your candy ass, but The Rock isn't stupid." We gotta go to our handy-dandy notepad here. Oh, there was more to that first promo, so hold on. Before we keep going on with The Rock, he turns to the camera and he pretty much just, the whole arena sees him when he turns to the camera, and he goes, "Monday Night Raw is war." And there you have that. I forgot to mention that. I didn't put dots at the end, so that was my dumbass fault. Screw you, Past Steve. Anyway, so he goes, "The Rock isn't stupid, and The Rock can see when he's outnumbered." And then Shane goes on to speak up, and he says, "So why are you here then, Rock? Because I don't know if I made it clear, but the time for talking is over. In fact, I'll be honest. I wasn't expecting you. I thought maybe The Undertaker and Kane, or maybe my idiotic sister and her ape of a husband who all of a sudden care. But you, after losing and being exposed as the egomaniac that you are, I thought you'd be embarrassed to even show your face." The Rock lost, simple as that, and I can own up to it. But The Rock don't know where The Undertaker and Kane is, and he certainly doesn't know where that jabroni Triple H or your skank of a sister is. But speaking of missing people, where's the NWO? Where's Holland Nash? Where's Hollywood Hulk Hogan? Where's the men who actually took out Mr. McMahon? And Shane goes on to answer The Rock by saying, the NWO is none of your concern, including all of you, so don't you give me that lookbook. And when he said all of you, he was talking about the WCW guys. Just want to make that clear. But as for you, Rock, I'm sick of you talking, sick of talking back and forth with you. So since you want to step up and be the sacrificial lamb, that's perfectly fine with me. But I'm all about giving opportunities. So instead of sending all these men out there just to beat you down like I should, I'm confident enough that I can do it with one. Which is why tonight, I'm officially putting you in the main event with none other than one half of the WWF Tag Team Champions, Scott Steiner. And that's when Scott Steiner steps up and he's all, posing, showing off his muscles. And The Rock looks at him and he goes, The Rock has no problems whooping Scott Steiner's candy ass tonight, so you can stop showing off your breast implants now, Scott. But you know something, Shane? The Rock will get his hands on you sooner or later. You can bet your candy ass on that. If you smell, it does the whole, if you smell what The Rock is cooking, something like that. Well, yeah, there you go. Also, Stone Cold Steve Austin passed on selling to Rhino, so thank you for that, Stone Cold. Jim Ross was pretty weak. That's unfortunate. Got the crowd hot, though. Book looked good. Sean Stasiak performed poorly, but whatever. Regal did not come out looking good either, but that's fine. Rock was fantastic. Either way, 94 solid A. Not too bad. Rick Steiner's developing better performance skills, too. Who can complain? So we then jump into our... I was about to call it our opening match, but I guess I should call it the next match. We have an 83 B+ rating here. That's actually really good, to be honest. 83 B+, good job, guys. And about that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. The Flock going over TNA in 10 minutes, 4 seconds after Perry Saturn defeats Albert with the Death Valley Driver. We also had a distraction from Test, or to Test, I should say, courtesy of Trish Stratus and Daphne. So pretty much in the match at some point, we have Daphne go over and attack Trish Stratus, which leads to Test jumping off the apron to kind of separate the two, or check on Trish. Kind of pulls the whole Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, Randy Savage thing where, what I'd like to imagine is Daphne, took Trish out, maybe, pushed her into the steel steps or something, and it looks like she's, knocked out, whereas Test, is worried enough to where he has to get down and go check on her, and he's like, oh, I gotta go take her to the back, which leaves Albert, for the tag, and then he goes for the tag, of course, a la, the Macho Man Hulk Hogan thing. No Test there. Turns around. Death Valley Driver. 1, 2, 3. The Flock beat him. Perry Saturn getting better at his gimmick. Bossman and Saturn have that great chemistry. We already knew about it. JR and King we already know about. Albert with an in-ring performance of an 87. Test with a damn 92. Calm it down, kid. No, it's not that special. They saw the Dudley Boys versus... RVD and Sabu, and he goes, if he thought that was good, watch us tonight. That's what they said. Perry Saturn with an in-ring performance of a 70, and Boss Man with a 63. So, worst of the thing, but he is the oldest as well. So, there you have that. All right, so we jump into a 100 A-star rating here as The Undertaker and Kane, the Brothers of Destruction, have arrived to Monday Night Raw as they grab their bags to enter the arena. They are blocked off by Ron Simmons, Tank Abbott, Tank Abbott, mostly because he's big and muscular, but it's kind of funny. He's out there with Ron Simmons and Chuck Palumbo, and he's a member of the Boogie Nights. Either way, they walk up to go into the arena. They're blocked off by the WCW trio, and then that's when The Undertaker goes, what the hell's going on here? Y'all want to move? And Ron Simmons goes, you would have heard if you were here on time, champ, but tonight WCW is taking over. Monday Night Raw is a war zone, and myself and these two gentlemen have been ordered to keep you two out of the arena. And then Taker, probably wearing sunglasses at this time because he's a badass, he takes them off and he goes, oh yeah? Well, how's that going for you? And then Taker swings at Ron Simmons, starting the brawl with him. Meanwhile, Kane starts the brawl with Tank Abbott and easily takes him out before going over and battling with Chuck Palumbo. The Brothers of Destruction battle their way into the hallway, working together to take down both Ron Simmons and Chuck Palumbo before tossing them into like two opposing rooms, pretty much just brawling against the walls and stuff. And then they toss them into like these two opposing rooms from each other, like right across from each other. And then they slam the doors like at the same time, pretty much. I don't know. I thought it was like a little funny, like Scooby-Doo bit, even though it is The Undertaker and Kane. Something, kind of little ad humorous, even though they're whooping their ass. So either way. So they slam the door shut on them, but then Tank Abbott comes back. He attempts to attack the Brothers of Destruction from behind, and he pays for it because they grab him by the throat, choke slam him. Originally, I had planned for this to be kind of like off, like maybe the stairwell or something, but then I was like, oh shit, I put him in a hallway, so there's no stairwell there. So unfortunately, Tank Abbott most likely got choke slammed on the floor, which that sucks. But either way, they choke slam him on the floor, and they make their way through the locker room. Undertaker looked good in this segment, and there you have that. By the way, none of these men were rated, so that's why I got a 100 star. Don't think Tank Abbott over here got a 100 star, okay, guys? We then jump into honestly, to be completely honest with you guys, an impressive 89 solid A rating for Test, Albert, and Trish. I mean, it could be Trish, but Test and Albert still impressed the hell out of me, guys. Like, I'm blown away almost every time I book these two. It's like Canyon and Hugh Morris, just the WWF version. Either way, we're backstage in the doctor's office. Trish, of course, is being checked on. And Albert, he's kind of confronting Test about what happened. And he goes, "What's going on, man? Where's your head been at? It's like ever since the Steiners jumped you back in November, you've been a different man." And then Test he's like, "Yeah, look, man, I know you're right. And it damn sure doesn't help that no matter how many times I step up to the Steiners, they always put me down." And then Albert, he's kind of taken aback, and he goes, I? What's this I crap? We're a team, man. And yeah, the Steiners may put us down, but we always get back up. And despite last night's Hell in a Cell, we're still walking, we're still breathing. But what the hell happened out there? There wasn't a Steiner in sight. I don't know, man. I saw Daphne go after Trish, and I got worried, okay? Would you get off my back? And then, again, Albert's still taking it back, and he goes, "No, I'm not going to get off your back. Because your back cost me and Trish. And speaking of Trish, she's a big girl. She can protect herself. You need to get your head in the game, man." And, Test, he's like, "You know what? You're right, man. Things haven't been the same. And I've let you guys down. And if the handy-dandy notepad would come up, we can continue this promo." But either way, he goes, "I've let you guys down. So from here on out, I promise you that you're going to get 100% Test." And then, Albert's all hyping up, like, "Yeah, that's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear," while Test just walks out of the office, all hyped up now. He then looks over at Trish, who, is iced up and all that, and he goes, "In a way, he's got a point, though. If you're going to roll with us, you got to be able to defend yourself, girl. How about you start training with me? I might need a new partner anyway now that, he's got to get his head in the game." And Trish, she goes, "I think you're right. If Daphne and the rest of the women's locker room want to get physical, then maybe it's time they get a little bit of stratisfaction in their lives." "Yeah, that's what I like to hear. So does that mean you're in?" And then Trish just looks at him, smiles, and she goes, "I'm in." And yeah, looks like Trish, she might be getting a little bit more physical, and I don't think it's the way you guys want to. Then again, we're all wrestling fans. Maybe I underestimate my audience, and maybe you guys want to see her in more in-ring action. I'm sure you guys do. Oh, look at that. Shane McMahon's pretty weak at the announce table. That's unfortunate. He's every match. I wasn't lying. Every match he's on the announce table, except right now because he's in an angle. But I'm going to take a... Oh! This was not supposed to be Billy Gunn. Fucking Billy Gunn, dude. I'm not going back. We're too far in this. Billy Gunn is shooting tonight. He's heard all the shit I talked about, and he goes, "You know what? I'm going to go out there and ruin his angle. How did I mess this one up? Fuck my life." Shane McMahon, he takes off the headset. We're rolling with it. 84B plus. It has to happen. He takes off the headset. He gets in the mic. or goes in the ring and he gets in the mic and he says, "All right, I want to take this moment to call someone out. Someone who has something that's mine. And I've been nice enough to let him have it for so long, but now it's time to give it back. So Edge, come on down." And that's when Edge's music goes off, and out comes the WCW United States Champion, who makes his way down to the ring and slides in there. He takes the mic, and he goes on to say, "You can't seriously expect me to hand this over. What? No one in WCW tough enough to take it off of me that you gotta take it off of me? What happened to being the man of opportunity?" And then that's when Shane goes on, "Oh, but I am..." Sorry, I just took a drink of some Coke and now I got the burps. "Oh, I am Edge. You see, you've got it all wrong. I'm not out here to strip you of the title, but I am out here to give an opportunity to a young and up-and-coming WCW talent tonight, and it's not you, Billy Gunn. So Edge, if you will hand over that title, because you've got a title defense coming up, buddy, against not Billy Gunn, but Mark Jindrak." And out comes Mark Jindrak and Steven Regal, who make their way down to the ring, and the match is underway. And Billy Gunn looked lost out there because he was lost. He must have took a wrong turn because he wasn't supposed to be there. Shane McMahon did a masterful job improvising with the crowd. Edge was surprisingly superb working without a script. Had the crowd in his palm the entire time, despite only having a few words. And also, performance of Edge was fantastic. There you go, Edge. Rising up in the world. We jump into said match, which does a 75 B-. That's unfortunate, but Mark Jindrak and Edge didn't click, so it's a good thing I didn't run this as my main event, because at one point, this was the main event, so good thing I didn't do that. Either way, 75 B-. Decent matchup here. Edge going over Mark Jindrak in 13 minutes, 25 seconds with the spear, making his third defense of the WCW United States title. Regal did some good work ringside, not enough to help, though. Like I mentioned, Mark Jindrak and Edge, they just didn't click, so that was unfortunate. Jindrak had an in-ring performance of a 55, Edge with a 69. And then wow, this did really good. After the match is over, we go to a solid 91 A rating here. Match is over, Edge takes the time to brag in the middle of the ring. He just beat, Mark Jindrak, he has the title. He's like, kind of like on that second rope thing, holding up the title, bragging at him. That's when the WCW Canadian champion, Lance Storm, takes the time to slide in the ring from behind, and once Edge turns around, he gets hit right in the face with the last call super kick, and then he locks him in with the Canadian maple leaf, ignoring Edge taps on the mat, or, not even on the mat. He's tapping on the belt because, he got the super kick, so he kind of throws it, and I kind of like the imaging of him tapping on the title belt. So, Lance Storm, he attacks Edge. He, makes him tap out on the belt. He then lets go finally, picking up both the United States Championship and the Canadian title before stomping on Edge's chest, posing over him with both the titles before tossing the United States title back at him and sliding out of the ring. Probably while Shane's orgasming on the commentary table the entire time. That's why he was probably pretty weak on this segment, because he was just like, "Oh, Lance Storm, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about." Either way, Edge came across well. Really good rating, guys. Like, holy shit. Everyone's delivering tonight. Even Billy Gunn somehow. There you go, Rock, with this 90 solid A rated promo here. Backstage with Michael Cole. He says, "Ladies and gentlemen, joining me at this time is the man who will face one half of the WWF Tag Team Champions tonight, The Rock." Rock enters the picture, and he goes, "Rock, as I just mentioned tonight, not only has WCW taken over Monday Night Raw, but Shane McMahon went ahead and put you in action against a man you've never faced before. At least I hope not, because that'll come back and bite me in the ass. Scott Steiner, what's your thoughts on heading in tonight's match?" And that's when The Rock goes, "Thoughts? You want to know The Rock's thoughts on Michael Cole? Well, you're in luck, Mitchell. Because not only is The Rock the people's champ, not only can The Rock bake the best pie your lips have ever tasted, and not only is The Rock the sexiest man in the arena tonight, but all around the world, but he also can see the future. So you want to know The Rock's thoughts? The Rock has no thoughts, because he already knows what happens. Rock bottom, boom, people's elbow, boom, and a 3 count. 3 seconds later, The Rock's hand raised in victory over Frankenstein's monster." And there you have it. quick little promo from The Rock on Scott Steiner as we get ready for our main event. But before we can get into the main event, we still got The Undertaker battling backstage. Nothing real special here. I didn't feel like writing out a whole thing. 100 A-star rating as The Undertaker and Kane continue battling their way backstage. I imagine them probably battling with Kane and Hugh Morris, or excuse me, not Kane and Hugh Morris, Canyon and Hugh Morris for a little bit here before, they get rid of them. And then that's when Raven and the Flock probably jump in and they get taken out as well as the BOD just continue battling backstage. All right, I believe it's main event time. It is, and that's disappointing. Why did it do this bad? I don't. Probably with all the interference. That's my guess. It is a sports entertainment sports entertainment finish. So that's probably what happened, to be honest. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. All the interference and all that. Either way, an exceptional match. Rock going over Scott Steiner. Total Extreme Wrestling. I don't trust you anymore. Never again am I trusting you anymore. I'm gonna have to. I gotta be specific with you apparently, because you would think I have all this interference with The Rock being attacked, and yet The Rock goes over, which he should. But by illegally using the ropes for leverage? No, you stupid game. By disqualification. Because all these people attacked him to help Scott Steiner because it looked like he was going to lose. How stupid can you be? Either way, that's how it's supposed to go down. Ignore the game. They're retarded. Anyway. Rock, he got, attacked by Rick Steiner. He got attacked by Booker T, Lance Storm, Mark Jindrak, Shawn Stasiak, Regal, the whole, group pretty much to end off the match. That's probably why it didn't do too well, but that's whatever. The closing angle should help us out a little more. Rock with a 97, Scott Steiner with an 88, and Scott had Scott's improving in performance, as is The Rock. Closing segment of the night gets a 99 A-star rating here. The match is over, but WCW continue to beat down on The Rock as they look to take out the People's Champion once and for all until the music of the Brothers of Destruction goes off, and out come the WWF Champion The Undertaker alongside his brother Kane, who make their way down to the ring to join in the brawl with The Rock as the three men from WWF trade blows with anyone who crosses their paths. So, of course, Scott Steiner, Rick, Booker T, Shawn Stasiak, and Mark Jindrak. Not Sting, ignore him. He's a part of the angle a little later. But, all the guys WCW-wise that have pretty much gotten involved here tonight. I just can't fit them all in this one angle. Anyway, so, pretty much trading blows with anyone who crossed their path until there was one. Shawn Stasiak, which is the main reason why he's the one that's featured out of everyone else. Shawn Stasiak stood alone in the ring as he musters up as much courage as he can. He runs right at the Brothers of Destruction, but he's caught in the throat by the BOD, and they proceed to chokeslam him in the middle of the ring, setting him up for The Rock to hit the People's Elbow, and WCW backs off for now as the WWF stand tall in the middle of the ring. Meanwhile, the camera shows off that Sting, the WCW champion, has been here this entire time, standing up in the rafters, watching the show, and watching the brawl ensue, but more specifically, watching The Undertaker as the two men, they kind of meet eyes, even though they're so far away from each other, ring from the rafter. But they meet eyes, and they have a little bit of a stare down to end off the show. I'd imagine probably the camera, even though you can't see them meeting eyes, like the camera probably panning back and forth to Sting, and The Undertaker just kind of looking at each other. Shane McMahon's still weak. Undertaker was good. Rock was a real star. Booker T was good. Of course, Shawn Stasiak underperformed. But either way, 99 A-star to end off the show, and we get ourselves a 83 B+. What? What do you mean there wasn't enough women there? What? We had Trish Stratus there. She was on the show like twice. What? Okay, game. That doesn't make sense. But I'll bite. Either way, the one Billy Gunn was slightly overused. I agree. Tank Abbott was used too much. Whatever. And there wasn't enough attractive women on our show to satisfy our core male audience. Okay. Either way, 83 B+, you perverts. The one thing I was worried about, though, was like the storylines. I was worried that since there are so many new storylines, that it was going to be like, you didn't meet your criteria for like how many storylines have to meet this amount or whatever, you know? Apparently, James Mitchell's the best announcer in the world. Gotta hire him sooner or later. What do we got here? Drug test. Bubba Ray Dudley, or excuse me, The Rock says Bubba Ray Dudley is a natural talker. He's worth giving promo time, in my opinion. That's some high praise from The Rock. Jim Cornette says Tank Abbott had poor in-ring psychology. He's probably not worth keeping around. That's a horrible Jim Cornette, by the way. Don't worry, Jim. I don't plan on keeping him around long. Oh, no, Scott. What did you do? Oh, steroids? What a surprise.